What is going on, friends? Sean Don coming back with another technical analysis. Here we have Terry Noyes. Got to work with Terry this past weekend at the 12th Rock Throws Clinic in Middletown, New York. I've also helped Terry out a number of times with technical analysis videos like this over the past few years. Yeah, so it was cool to work with Terry in person. Terry, it was cool to work with you in person and help you kind of find some things, set some light bulbs off, perhaps. And so this is a throw just almost immediately after the clinic, where you said you're kind of working on the same things from the clinic, and yeah, so let's just get right into it. The big thing was, kind of giving yourself some more time to set up kind of winds and entry, make things feel a little bit longer, and then feel the ball kind of pulse towards the sector, feel the ball kind of stretch towards the sector, which you said made it, like a 2 or 3 second long throw feel like 10 seconds, which is great news. The longer you can feel the ball go around you, probably the more tension you have, the more patient you're going to be, the easier, more efficient things are going to be as well. So let's break things down frame by frame and give you a little bit more tweaks to work on, and hopefully enlighten you as to some of the things that we were talking about during the clinic, and then I guess visualize it for you a little bit instead of just trying to help you or have you work off feelings. So yeah, so you're turning back, facing the right really well, reaching back, ball comes forwards, settling back over the left, hands come out in front of you, shifting back over the right, reach back to the 180, reaching far out to the right here. Like I said, so this is kind of the position where sometimes when I said you over posture, this is kind of where it happens, where it's very subtle here, but a couple throws that you would do in the clinic, your upper body would kind of be back just a little bit more, leaned back a little bit more. I'm not sure if you can visualize that. Here's not so bad, but just food for thought. Letting the hands come out, facing the right well. Ball goes out, reaching far back behind you, settling the hips down. Flat, like this good wire angle there. And then excuse me. Water break. My apologies. So, reaching out far to the right, setting up, good patient left side. You can see a little bit of tension in the right elbow, but left side's pretty solid. Settling back, letting the ball go around the left. I do think you could kind of sit down and back into the throw a little bit more. It looks like, as you can see here, your hips kind of come down just a little bit. Come down and back just a little bit before they start going around with the hammer. Just a little misdirection there, but it's not bad. Not bad at all. So maybe throw the ball forwards off there, off 270, and then sit back and settle back into the throw a little bit more as it goes through zero, and then get that left side out of the way to get the right side into it. But nice smooth single spore movement, catch, more in the direction of the sector, and then good patience, letting the ball get ahead. Especially if you look at the head, that's interesting. I like that. Starting to see the body turn with it more, and this is also kind of what I talk about, where when your hips kind of disconnect, as you can see, it's subtle, but everything's together here, and then hands start to go ahead, sort of from the hips, where or I guess perhaps maybe the left side isn't turning quite like it needs to, and the idea of the left side coming back, and you can see hips down just a little bit, hips back just a little bit. It's very subtle, but you're settling back over that right side pretty well. And then, like I said, so what we're trying to feel is as the ball goes left, you're trying to feel the ball stretch, pull you forwards, give you some direction, make you step, and then you catch. Decent, solid, better here, for sure, much better. I think this is probably the best turn so far. Everything kind of turning together. Hips forward towards the hammer, good position there. Catching. And then we'll see if you do the thing that I was kind of talking about, where this is third turn, catch. Not quite as deeper into the sector in terms of the ball. Once again, just an indicator, not something you need to necessarily try for. You got to let the ball do its thing. But yeah, so not bad. left side coming up and back a little bit. I think that's just because you're missing a little bit of that direction, like I said early on in the throw. Like this position, really solid, really solid. Right leg gets a little wide, a little bit behind. As you can see, cowboy leg a little bit. And then you start to see, because you don't quite have the direction, I think, and you don't really hit your pendulum backwards, I think, probably until about here. Like I said, because you're missing that little bit of direction early on the throw. So you hit your pendulum here, you're going to see the energy of the ball kind of go up this way, and your body's going to kind of react to it and be a little bit off balance. So just a little bit late striking it. So in terms of we're talking about timing and how important timing is. And I think that's also why you see this kind of cowboy leg. And you start to see left shoulder up a little bit, weird positions here. So you're kind of off balance, kind of at the wrong spot perhaps. And then you try to salvage it and catch, and you can see this left foot kind of come off the ground a little bit and gather. Catch, late catch, not much tension. But it's a light ball. It's going to be harder to find that tension in the direction and the timing. And you start to see, to salvage it, I guess to compensate, you can see the left side pull more. Hips are kind of back away from you, back away from the ball instead of being underneath you and having like a nice, more upright posture on this catch. And then you can, it's light, so you can kind of pull the left side around and finish out. And you get your hips up into it. Kind of got that like shove to the side sort of thing. But yeah, overall, like I said, the things that we wanted to work on, hopefully you still felt it here, but feeling that ball stretch to the sector. Just the biggest thing in this throw specifically, I think, is kind of missing a little bit of direction early on. And if you miss that direction, you kind of, things just kind of go awry. I guess the system isn't set up quite like it needs to. So, yeah, reaching out. Okay, so one more time, just to run through it. But yeah, trying to get just a little bit more sling. You could stay loaded over this right side just a little bit more. Sling the ball with the left shoulder. And then sit back, sit down, whatever you want to think about, lean back, cast that, not cast, but that left side sort of sling as the ball goes through zero. Just getting a little bit more direction in the entry. You're letting the ball go well. Like I said, it's just there's a little bit too much patience. Not necessarily too much patience, but just missing a little bit of direction in addition to the patience. And like I said, you can see that from the hips as they kind of just, right here, boom, they shift down and over the right side as the ball goes left instead of staying with the ball. It's very subtle, very subtle. So everything else gets set up after that. And what you should feel is, as the ball is also stretching to the sector, if you feel that pulse forwards, you should also feel the hips go with it too. I think you should feel it, like if you're familiar with the body, like the psoas. If you can feel the psoas and the abs kind of fire, and as you feel that pulse forwards with the ball, your hips should also feel that pulse forwards. Or you should feel the hip pressure kind of forwards into the throw. Okay, where it looks, like I said, your hips are just a little bit back, so you don't quite feel that. So then you got to kind of pull, and once again, the system is set from here on out. So you're kind of just along for the ride. You can see it's very subtle. This movement here, right through here, these 3 or 4 frames. That's the hands going left with like the hips kind of shifting down and back away from it instead of getting up into it. So you're kind of just missing a little bit of connection with the hips. So yeah, and then from there the throw just goes on, like kind of as I said. So especially here, big indicator that you're not quite connected with it. So yeah, Terry, let me know if you have any other questions. Hopefully this helps enlighten some things and give you an idea of some of the things that I saw during the clinic. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. If anybody else out there would like a technical analysis, go to gripandrip.co. Check out my coaching services page, throws programming, lifting programming, technical coaching, whatever it is. Got you. All right, so thanks for watching. Until next time, Sean Don, signing off.